High school. Just saying it opens the floodgate of memories. The peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch every day, the awkward bumbling through class presentations, the excessive sweating. Each memory I've tried to suppress throughout the last 10 years. That's right, I'm arriving at that 10-year mark. Facebook happily reminded me in the form of an invitation to my reunion. Has it really been 10 years? There's college, community college, college again, some life experience, more college, a little bit more life experience, and then life experience. Okay, yeah, time sure does fly when you're somewhat of a whole person and not in high school. If I were to grade my high school experience, I would say it was a hard C-. Academically, I did fine in all subjects except math. I can't math. Socially, I had a bit more trouble. It began freshman year, trying out for the fall musical and not even being cast in the chorus. So I'm no superstar, that's okay. There was still sports. Volleyball, basketball, swimming tryouts. No, nope, nada. Good old rejection. By my sophomore year, I had given up on entering the social scene at all, as my friends decided I was too cool to be seen with outside the walls of our prison. At the time, in my 15 years of lived life, this was the worst, most awful thing that could ever happen. I resorted to sitting in the art room at lunch while the goth kids watched anime and Disney films. My after-school days were usually filled with inventing a new dish for dinner that night, and no matter how hard I tried not to, my homework was always turned in on time. Now reflecting, what a sweet deal that was, right? A culinary expert with good grades who could watch all the television and movies I wanted. These days, I would label that as making it. Back then, it was just surviving. With all the free time I had, I turned to writing. Writing for me at this time in my life consisted of dramatic storytelling with plenty of twists. A girl wakes up in a cemetery, but really, she's a ghost. A girl attends a party and is murdered, later becoming a ghost. And for a change, a girl tries to fit in at her high school, but she is trouble. Twist, she's also a ghost. To give some context, my writing office was my tiny closet that made weird sounds at night. I'd go inside during the daytime with a flashlight and plenty of angst and wish with all my heart that high school would just end so I could go to college. Because of course, nothing like what I was experiencing would happen to anybody who was attending college. When I had finished writing for my day, I'd exit my claustrophobic hiding space, rejoin the world, still angst-ridden, but comforted by the fact that high school would have to end sometime. Not soon enough, as it turned out. I still had 2.5 years left. My friends and I eventually made up and moved on, me not quite forgetting the weekends spent holed up inside my office. 2.5 more years, 2.5 more years, I would remind myself every night before bed. The days floated by. I tried out for and got cut from cheerleading, submitted for and was rejected by the school's newspaper and yearbook staff. Only 1 more year, only 1 more year, I would remind myself every night before bed. At last, I had arrived to the final 6 months of my high school career. Weirdly, and perhaps somewhat ironically, my plate had gotten full. After all that time spent in the art room during lunch with the goth kids, I had joined Art Attack, an art club that mostly had funding for club t-shirts that we designed and then ordered for ourselves. When we could afford to create pieces of art, I found myself spending my lunches again in the art room, but this time surrounded by new friends and new faces. I also somehow auditioned for a student-directed play and finally got to shine front and center stage. And with that, I had come full circle. Well, semi-circle, if we're being nitpicky. All it took was 3 years and 6 months, but I had found a piece of high school to hold on to and treasure. With my reunion still in mind, maybe it wouldn't be so bad going, but only for the last half hour.